Welcome to Art Club with Amber. Let's make woven keychains. We'll be using 3mm macrame cording, available in all kinds of beautiful colors. We'll make 3 different kinds of knots. Square knot on the left, twisted square knot in the middle, and a zipper knot on the right. Let's grab our supplies. We need a metal clasp or a keychain, scissors, 2 different colors of cording, and a comb. Line up the ends of your cords to find the center of the strings. Once you find center, you're going to make a little loop. Take one color at a time and thread that loop through the hole of your keychain. Now pull the ends through that loop and pull it tight. Repeat that for the second color through the keychain, and now you pull the ends through the loop you just made and pull that tight. This kind of knot looks really cool on either side. Next up, tape your keychain to the surface you're working on, and then separate your colors where you have 2 pieces going down the middle, and then you have cords on the left and the right. So we're going to tape those center pieces down so they stay stationary. All of our knots are going to go around these center cords. So the square knot, you'll want to take your left color and make a 4 shape, crossing over the center strands, then take the cord on the right, cross over, under, and through that hole. We pull it straight across and it becomes a little pretzel. And now don't stop here, but you're going to pull all the way up so there aren't any gaps between each knot. So make sure that when you're doing this, it's nice and tight. Now you're ready for the other side, so go backwards for the dark pink over the light pink, under everything, and through that hole you just made. Make a pretzel. Make sure your cords are not twisted, and then pull those strings all the way up to finish the knot. A square knot has 2 sides of the knot. You do it on the left side and the right side, and then you're finished. So every time you're going to make a 4 with your light pink, like I have here, and the dark pink will always go over, under everything, and through to make the pretzel, and then you tighten it every single time. Now you repeat that on the opposite side like a mirror. So make your backwards 4 with your light pink. Your dark pink goes over that left side, underneath everything. You'll see how my finger shows you it has to go through that. And now you make your pretzel and pull it to the top. At this point, we're ready to just keep repeating steps. So we want to make sure that they line up and you have no gaps in there. So always pull it tight, but you're always going to go to the left and the right, and that completes your knot every time. So you'll make a regular 4, over, under, through, a backwards 4, over, under, through. So with mine, you'll see we've got the light pink going down the middle and the dark pink on either side. When we start to get to the end, you'll see that it's difficult to make those final knots. We want to leave a couple inches left to make our tassel. At this point, remove the keychain from the surface you're working on, and then we're going to trim that excess cording at the end and use that to make a special kind of knot to finish our keychain. This will also help our knots we just made to stay in place. So pick one of your colors, and I chose the darker pink for this one. So you'll take one end about 1/2 inch to 1 inch going up the woven knots, and you're going to make a little loop. Then the long end is going to wrap around everything. So we're going to wrap around probably 4 times if you have enough, and you'll wrap it that way, and then wrap one more time to make that first round, and now do it about 3 more times if you have enough length there. So we want to wrap it around, keep it pretty tight so that we're keeping all of our cords in place. And then once I get around that 3rd time, I'm going to go through the loop I made, and so the end goes through there, and it's going to be part of our tassel now. And so I'm going to keep that stationary for now, and then that inch to the left, I'm pulling that toward the middle, and now I'm going to pull both ends just of that extra cording, and I'm going to pull it really tight to make a knot, a hidden knot there. And now I can trim the piece that is toward my woven knots, and you can kind of stuff that back into the knot if you'd like to, but it kind of blends pretty nicely. You don't really have to stuff it. But that way that keeps your knots in place. And now we grab a comb, and we're going to comb that and fray those ends to make it look like a tassel. So I always keep a good pressure with my thumb over that knot so that I'm not affecting the knots I just created and all the weaving I just did. So once you've done all the brushing through, it's kind of fuzzy. So then I do my last trim, and now you have a nice little tassel, and here's how your square knot looks. Now we're ready to make the twisted square knot. We'll start in the exact same way with our knots and attaching everything to our surface, separating our two colors. You're still going to make a 4 on the left, and that right cord will go over, under, and through. But this time we're going to continue repeating and only making that 4 shape every time on the left. So you'll see that these colors start to alternate and take turns. So every time we're going to make sure that our knots are going across and around those middle cords, making a figure 4 on the left, and the right side always goes over and under everything and through. So you'll see again, make a 4, right side goes over, under, and through, make your pretzel and lift it straight up. So with a twisted square knot, you're going to see a stair step happen, and you're basically just alternating the colors because you're only doing one side of the square knot. So what it's going to do is going to start to twist as it goes, and it looks like a double helix. It's just really a cool, probably my favorite knot. So you will see how it will begin to twist at the top, and you may have to readjust, but you just keep making 4s over, under, and through, and you'll continue to see how it's making a stair step or double helix shape and alternating colors. So keep making knots until you get about 3 inches to 4 inches of weaving done, and you'll notice that when you get toward the end, again, it is more difficult to make those final knots, but leave a couple inches so you can make a tassel, just like we did with our square knot. So now that we've got enough length there, we can remove it from our surface. I just love this shape. It's such a cool look to it. I love how the colors alternate, and just a neat double helix design. So now we're ready to make a tassel with our blue keychain. So we're going to trim off that excess, and I'm going to choose a light blue this time, and I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Leave about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, make a loop on the right, and we're going to take the long end and wrap around everything. Make sure again that it stays nice and tight so that all that weaving we did will stay in place, and this knot will help keep it there. So wrap it 3 or 4 times, then take that end through the loop you just made. Once it's through, again, keep that stationary for just a second while you pull on the left side and make that knot hidden under the wraps you just did. So once I get that pulled under there, I'm going to pull both ends really tight so that it's a nice and tight knot hidden underneath the loops. Same as before, we're just going to start at the end, fray it with a comb, make a tassel out of it, trim off the extra fuzzy pieces, and now we're done. So here we have our twisted square knot keychain. Again, this is probably my favorite one. I love how it looks. So we've done both of ours with a square knot and a variation with a twisted square knot. So now let's do a zipper knot. And just like the other two, we're going to find the ends, line them up so we can find the center of our cords, and then wrap those around and into our keychain. So that center loop goes inside and through, and then the ends go through that loop we just made. Pull it tight, get it all set up the way you did with the other ones, and we're going to start the exact same way, but this time we won't need to interact our other cords. We're just going to do one cord at a time. The cord on the left will make its own knot, and the cord on the right will make its own knot. So you'll make a backwards 4 on this side, go around those center strings and pull it up and through that loop you just made, and then make it tight. So you just take turns. Now we're going to take the left side color and do our 4 underneath those center pieces and up and out of the way, but make sure and pull it sort of tight and at a diagonal so that way you don't have any gaps in between each loop. Continue repeating on the other side. Make a backwards 4 around those center pieces, up and through, tighten it, and now you're ready to continue going on the other side. Keep repeating over and over, and it starts to look like a zipper. So you'll make your 4 knot and then your backwards 4, and they just keep taking turns around those center strings. Just like before, we want to continue weaving until we have about 3 or 4 inches of woven knots around our center pieces. When you get to that point, you'll make sure you have enough left over to create a tassel, again about 2 inches. Now you're ready to take it off the surface that you're working on, so you can now make your tassel and create our wrapped knot. So trim those extra edges and pick your color that you like. I like to take again about 1 inch on the left, make a loop on the right, and I'm going to wrap it hopefully 4 times or more if I have enough length there. So keep wrapping, making sure it's super tight so that you are not letting those knots become loose. And then once you feel like you have enough wrapped around those strings, then you'll take your end that you're wrapping currently and it will go through that loop to be a part of the tassel. Make sure and hold that nice and steady so that way it doesn't come loose. Pull that left string and take that knot underneath those wrapped portions. Once you get it there, pull both ends nice and tight, then you're ready to trim it. So take your scissors, trim the top portion that's near your woven pieces, tuck it in if you want to, and then you're ready to use your comb and fray those edges to make a tassel. Always start at the end, work your way up toward that knot, keeping your thumb over the other strings so they don't become loose. Now when you're done, trim off the fuzzy edges, and now you're finished with your keychain. And now you have your zipper knot keychain. Very cool and reversible. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Art Club with Amber. We hope to create with you soon at one of our Art Club with Amber events.